Guys. Okay, guys, we are live. It's Monday night. We're going to have a lovely little chat. Well, sort of a little chat, a big game tomorrow. One
Not
more
lovely
game
about
to
the stuff we're
go.
talking about.
Yeah, we lucky we weren't live about 2 minutes ago, but just we are live tonight to talk about the big game tomorrow night at Anfield, of course. That is Liverpool against Ajax of Amsterdam. One game to play, guys. Chelsea's off the weekend. Wolves was off at the weekend. So this is it. We've got to make it count. We've got to get on the board. We've injuries coming out our ears. And to talk about the big game, of course, I have two legends, as usual. It's Ivan at Ivan Jennings on Twitter, and it's Keith at Ethan Ryan on Twitter. How are you boys?
All right.
Good.
All good? Ready to roll?
All right for Monday.
Yeah. Crazy shit going on, guys. Obviously, the game was called off Saturday. Wolves.
We didn't lose. It's the main thing.
Yeah, we didn't play either. Look, the injuries, we can take it two things out of this. The Chelsea game we just heard a few hours ago was called off. I had a feeling that would have been, of all the games, Chelsea, Liverpool on a Sunday down in London with the funeral on the Monday. I mean, that was probably what was going to happen. We all sort of knew that. But you guys seem to think this will help us, obviously, with the injuries and stuff, and it'll just give us that break. It'll give us that. Obviously, we'll have to fit these games in somewhere, lads, but you worry about that when it happens. So, Keith, what do you think? You're happy enough with the truncated season we're having?
I think just in terms of where we're at now at the moment, I think it's some welcome respite. I suppose it's a couple of different ways of looking at it. Just from my own perspective, I do think it's some welcome respite, to be honest with you. I don't give enough time to deal with what we need to deal with, to be honest with you. Hopefully we can just get everybody back in now, talking, getting some, spirit back into the side, because we look divided at now at the moment. We look a disjointed unit at the moment. Nobody seems to be playing for each other. We're certainly not fighting as a team at the moment. So maybe it's exactly what we needed. We've still got a couple of key injuries to deal with. Another one now today, to be honest with you. So it does seem like it's very difficult for us to get to a point in time where we've got some consistency and a steady ship. There just seems to be like something happening every fucking week. And, it's breaking up any type of rhythm we're hoping to get done. Or hoping to get going. So I think it's good. Now it's up to us now to utilise that time, to be honest with you. And I don't really care about the odd game here or there. It looks like there's pretty much, there's a schedule of games that are going to take place over the weekend. And there's only a couple of games. And I think, unless we go all the way again in all the cup competitions, there's probably going to be some time to fit that game in towards the tail end. It'll probably result in maybe an extension as well towards maybe we might be looking at closer into June. But so be it. These are unforeseen circumstances. But from my perspective, I think it comes at a good time. And I, for one, I'm happy.
Yeah. Ivan, I mean, as you say, it could work for us. It could work against us with congestion and stuff like that. But at the moment, because we started so poorly, I think the players didn't get the rest they needed in the summer, to be fair, with the way we had our pre-season in Thailand and Bangkok and things like that. We players looked like they needed a rest. I mean, Robbo, I think, was on the verge of getting an injury, and it just looks like he did get that injury that he was almost played to get at this stage, and he's out now, and he won't be back till after the international break. So we're down to the bare minimum. We've one game to be played in September. That's tomorrow night. But do you think it'll help us in the long run, these two games?
Yeah, I'd agree with Keith. Like, it better. He has the chance now to fix it, so it better work in our favour. Because as bad as we've been, we're 5 points off Man City in the league, and we've only lost one game in the Champions League. So nothing is over here.
Yeah.
Nothing is gone. So he's got every chance to turn it around, and I have complete faith in him. I think it's different to when he had the really bad season in Dortmund, when they fell apart. And I was looking at it today. The squad, the quality he has now at Liverpool compared to what he had at Dortmund it's light years ahead. So these lads need to step up now. He needs to change something. I'm not sure what it is, going back to basics and getting the intensity back in, or maybe dropping off a little bit. I don't know. But I have faith in him turning it around. Because if he doesn't, this is going to be a really, really hard season.
Yeah,
I think the intensity has been waning for a number of seasons now. It's not just this season, right? But, we certainly weren't pressing anywhere near as much last season. And if you go back to the season before, I think even when we got motoring the season, we won the league. You know, we started off quite aggressive, but that all kind of petered off towards the end because we were so confident on the ball. You know, we didn't need to do it. We were holding the ball a lot longer. We were retaining possession. We were recycling the ball over and over and over again with quality. And we were squeezing teams until they popped, to be honest with you. So we weren't giving them an awful lot of ball to deal with. All we had to deal with was the odd long ball. Now we seem to be a lot more negative. So the confidence is gone, right? Confidence is shot at the moment, right? And, you know, that recycling is gone. We're rushing passes. We're trying to get the ball forward a lot quicker. We're almost... We don't, it doesn't feel like we have the confidence to break a low block and we're trying to force the issue all the time, you know? So as opposed to what we were doing quite well a couple of seasons ago. So that's gone, to be honest with you, and that needs to come back, or we need to get back to being the pressing monster. The problem with being a pressing monster is that a lot of that team are 3, 4, 5 years on than where they were. And, you know, I don't think the legs are there in that current team to be pressing anywhere near, apart from maybe some isolated games where they can get up for it, like Chelsea or like City in the Charity Shield. You know, so I think at once-off games and stuff like that, we could probably get back to that. But I don't think we can keep that intensity going for the season because it's not there in the legs. So it's to me, it's all about getting confidence back into that team, and you know, maybe a run of 3 or 4 results. But we haven't been able to do that. Get that run of 3 or 4 results. It's been a result here, a result there, 2 steps forward, 1 step back at the moment. So it's difficult. It's a difficult one to navigate because when you look at the run of fixtures that we have and to catch up on, you know, we don't get that run of easy games. You certainly don't get it with the Champions League coming up, you know. So, and you look at it in our first 10, we'll have played, well, depending on what way it works out now, but you'll have played United away. We were due to play Chelsea away. We've City, Arsenal, you know, all of these teams, and Everton away. So all of these, you know, conspire would have been there within the first 7 or 8 games, to be honest with you, out of a game of 38. So, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult for us to get ahead of steam. I think it kind of improves after that, after October, you know, where we do have a bit of a run of games where we should be picking up points. But at that stage, you could be well out of it. You could be well out of it and confidence is shot. So I think if we can get the lads in and do a bit of a reset now over the next couple of weeks, to be honest with you, and hit the ground running when we get back.
Ivan, sorry, give me your take on it. I think tomorrow night's so important for that as well. I mean, just to finish, get 3 points on the board, take a lot of the negativity away. A lot of negativity around Liverpool at the moment. Okay, some of it's founded, considering that Napoli result, the United away result was terrible as well. Napoli was probably even worse performance than that performance. You know, I didn't think I'd get a worse performance than that United performance, but it was just because they were our rivals, it hurt even more, especially us calling them absolutely shy. To get beaten by a United team was terrible. But I think tomorrow night is huge in that way, just for a bit of confidence, a bit of reset, and then you've 2-3 weeks, international break and stuff, and you go again. Ivan, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. So, like, I was watching the Anfield Rock today, right? And they were talking about this, the problem is they've set the standards so high, right?
Yeah.
Both in terms of what they've won, performances, goals, shots, XGs, all that kind of stuff, that when there's any kind of a drop off, it's like, lads, what's going on here? It's falling apart. I think
it's off the edge of a cliff, though, isn't it?
But it is. But again, you need to put it into perspective in terms of where we are and how early it is in the season, right? I think you're right about the age in midfield, Keith, in terms of the kind of full on, you know, animal-like pressing that we used to do, but there's no intensity whatsoever. So that has to improve. And I would even go so far as to point to Salah and Nunez and Diaz as starting that. And people keep talking about Mane. Like, Mane was gone, so like I think we should stop talking about. He was great at pressing, but he also had his games where he wasn't great at it, right? So
plus he wanted to leave, Ivan.
I'm totally. But this is the thing. So
look, I have no
issue.
Good luck.
Yeah,
you know
I have no issue with Mane whatsoever. You know, he's gone. He was brilliant, but he's gone. But like we've talked about over the last couple of years, we've seen Henderson brilliant at pressing. We've seen Salah brilliant at pressing. You know what I mean? They can all do it. So I'm not looking for the kind of mentality monsters type pressing. I just want some level of pressing in there because it's just gone. The other thing, Keith, I'd like Everton and United aren't our rivals. We shouldn't be worrying about those results, and that's why I think that this break is good for us because we're going to avoid playing Chelsea at least. We've got Brighton on the 1st of October, and then I think we've got City after. So we have a bit of a chance to just settle it. I would have been worried had we played Wolves last weekend and Chelsea this weekend, because we could have lost both those games the way we're playing. So get the break, get them reset, recharge the batteries. 3 or 4 weeks back off. I think Thiago coming back last week is huge, and like you were pointing out, the fact that we're just rushing everything, and instead of taking 10 passes at the back, we're taking 3 and then looking to force it. He gives you that little bit of balance where we can slow it down a little bit more now. So you have to have the glass half full approach here, and have faith in them, and look at who is coming back. And what they've achieved over the last couple of years, I'm still backing them.
Oh no, we're all backing them. It's just the drop off has been huge, as Keith said. But the thing about it is, we were breaking records nearly every season. We broke some bloody record, either on undefeated, goals, clean sheets. Every season we broke records at some stage. Sometimes 2 or 3 different records we broke. Even the greatest Liverpool teams never even had some of the things we got in the last.
And the other thing, we've had no luck. Absolutely zero luck. We could have beaten United. I was happy with that. We hit the post a couple of times last week. So nothing is going in our favor either. And like, you obviously need that little bit of luck. We've had no.
There's a degree. There's a fragility there. There is a fragility there.
Oh, yeah. Mindset, for the first time I go into games, guys, especially away from home, and I'm thinking, you're a bit of a worry. Whereas even last season, I wasn't really worried about anybody, were you? I was thinking, we're going to win this, Whereas
but then there's the key question, though, right? So what does he do, right? So it's very obvious where the problems are. Like, forget about the intensity and whatever. Look at the strategy that he plays, playing a high line. All of the goals are coming down the right-hand side. Trent's having a shocker. Gomez is having a shocker. Kanate's out. Matip's only back. The obvious thing for
Salah's isolated, and you're trapped to throw Nelly into the deep end. You can't really blame him. He's only a kid.
Exactly.
He's way out of his depth at the moment.
Totally out of his depth. You've no Henderson on the right either. So what do you do? Like, the natural thing, a pragmatist would just say, okay, maybe I need to change
the system a little bit.
Exactly.
So what would you do?
But that's what I worry about. So I said exactly what I would do.
He's talking about reinventing last week. Did you hear him saying that?
No, I heard that.
So obviously something's going to happen.
The simple thing, Dave, is to have the midfield and the defense drop off 5 or 10 yards to stop that long ball, right? And maybe to have a word in Trent's ear to say, listen, Trent, your job first and foremost now is to defend and not to attack. Maybe you can ping it from where you are, but it's not to get forward into the 10 position. The problem that I see with Klopp, and this is a good problem in as much as it's a bad problem, he hasn't changed. He'll keep sticking with it, and that's what I worry about, because there's very obvious tactical and personnel issues at the moment. So I don't know.
Keith, what would you do? Would you tweak it for even tomorrow night's game? Would you go
done a bit for tomorrow night's game? I think what he should be doing over the next couple of weeks is looking to tweak it, to be honest with you, when we have the time off. Not tomorrow night's game. Well, listen, I suppose we haven't played. He's had some time, and I'm sure they've been working on something. If you've got Gomez fit, and you've got Matip fit, and you've got Van Dijk fit, okay, and he wants to push Trent on a little bit, you could maybe look at a 3-4-3 formation, okay, and give us a little bit more support there at the back and give us an extra body in there. Alternatively, I think if you've got, now we don't have it, alternatively, once you've got Henderson back, but you've got Fabinho and Thiago, you play them as a 2 in front and look at them to shut down the passing lines, right? And then you don't need to get the entire team pressing like lunatics, but you're 3. So if you go 4-2-3-1, you've got the one up front to occupy the 2 centre halves, and you press with the 3, right? And use those 3 to press the ones behind it. We know Diaz can press, Salah can still probably press, and you put in somebody else in there in the middle and try and get them to press. Who that player is, I don't think we have them. I don't think Elliott presses too well, and certainly Carvalho doesn't. But you could look at somebody in there, and then look at the 2 in the front, and they're effectively holding and trying to cut off those passing lanes, particularly in the gaps between Gomez and Trent. That's the most important one. That's the most important one to fill. So Thiago on the left and Fabinho more on the right-hand side and looking to protect, because they're going to do the same thing. Any team that comes against us now, it's head-up ball and it's down that channel. There's fucking nothing else. There's only one blueprint to play against us now at the moment. Very little attacks come down our left-hand side.
And it's effective. The problem is for us, it's fucking effective.
Because it's a fucking shit show. That's why. It's a shit show. Like okay, Gomez has had a really poor night and give them 2 goals the other night, but he's no protection. Trent is just nothing.
Yeah,
He's
but
nothing at the moment.
the goal the other night was the second one. It was identical to the goal against United. Do you know what I mean? So you're kind of going, "What the fuck are you doing here, buddy?" Same as last week. Same as fucking last week.
You know, you're away from home in a cauldron, like fucking Rosette. Just fucking get the ball out, you know, and let everybody get reset. All this kind of stuff, you know, just schoolboy shite. But like the whole right hand side is an absolute shit show, to be honest with you. And there's zero confidence. And anytime the ball goes near Trent, he's not showing any interest in defending it, any interest or reacting. And I don't know what the story is. Is it like I'm too good for this, or this is not my game, and suck it up and get on with it? But like, it's not good enough. It's not good enough at the level we want to aspire to. You know, there shouldn't be a defined playbook against us in terms of if you do this and continue to do this, you'll beat them. And that's the way it is at the moment. You know, so it's just not good enough.
It also is a lot of it's to do with, as you were saying earlier, our midfield has aged. And that intensity has lost. And without intensity, as Pep Linder's book calls it, intensity, press, gegenpress, that is our blueprint. And if we don't have that on the fucking pitch, we don't have a lot more. We need that press. Yeah. We need it.
We do. And I tell you another thing we shouldn't be doing. We shouldn't be setting up a side either. I've spoken about it, right? That the first thing I said is you know, trying to protect the right-hand side and protect Trent. We shouldn't have to be protecting Trent. You shouldn't have to be setting up a team to protect him because he can't do his fucking job. You know, like that's another thing to look at it, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, but that team has been so good. We've kind of not had to worry about Trent, right? Because Matip has been excellent. Henderson naturally fills in the gap there. You know, you've got Salah who's also on the right. We've everyone on the game has kind of
even before that, with Genie in there running around like a fucking, you know, the energy in midfield was there and was covering up all the holes, filling in all the gaps that weren't being there. I'm sure there was the same gaps, just that there was players running into those gaps, you know, and we don't have that at the moment.
Yeah,
I don't know whether we leave even all our players back, whether we'll have it, but we'll certainly get the press back. We will get the press back.
I think if you were playing the 3 there, who would you play? Who would be the 4, Keith? Would you play Trent? No, if you're playing 3-4-3, would you play Trent on the right?
Yeah.
Or the 4? Yeah.
I would. And then Fabinho, Thiago, and then
Costas.
Well, yeah, Costas.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because, like, I did think we would do a 4-2-3-1 to try and fit Nunez in, but now this is when we were actually playing quite well. I thought that the natural thing to fit him in, or to start fitting him in, was to treat him as a 9. You've got the 3 boys behind there who can be quite fluid, because I think that's another bit that we're lacking. I think they're interpreting, you know, staying wide very literally, and Salah is staying too far wide.
Yeah.
And Diaz is staying too far wide.
Yeah.
And that's causing more problems. So, you know, whilst we're defensively all over the place, in the past we would have outscored teams. Now we don't even look really that dangerous going forward, which is another kind of a worry, you know.
We're rushing it though, to be honest with you. That's a lot of the problem there. Is
we're getting into positions, lads. We're getting into positions. It's just the fucking finishing. Even last season, some of the finishing is absolute.
Yeah, the final ball has been, you know, and like when you look at it, and we've spoken about it last week. When you look at City, like, okay, Haaland's getting a shitload of goals, but their midfield get a shitload of goals as well. You know what I mean? Like, they contribute. They're getting ahead of the ball and they're getting chance after chance, whether it's Foden, whether it's Silva or De Bruyne even, or Gundogan, you know, they all chip in with goals on a regular basis. They get ahead of the play, you know, they arrive late into the box. We don't do that. We say, right, the front 3 go and win that. And when they're not firing, you know, it's typically we're not firing, to be honest with you, and it's a little bit all or nothing. So we don't seem to get that. So listen, but that's not the way we set up. We set up with, you know, an industrious tree in the middle of the park to stop any other team playing, and then we say, right, our front 3 are good enough to go win the game for us, and that's the way we've always set up. And that's fantastic when you've got the personnel to be able to do that. But
I think City's balance is lovely, though, to be fair now. That I think the balance in midfield is really good. Look, tomorrow night, guys, for the last 10 minutes of the show, we might as well talk about tomorrow night. It's Champions League, game week 2. We lost 4-1 last week. We all know about that. But Ajax beat Rangers 4-0. And in a very impressive display. I think they've won the last 7. They scored a lot of goals. They won 5-0 the weekend. I know it's the Eredivisie. Herenveen, I think they beat 5-0. But they're scoring goals. They're keeping clean sheets. They're a decent outfit. And as we know with Ajax, they're a selling club. They keep getting gems. You know, they sold your man Anthony to United. What was he on? 90 million or something like this. So they keep getting gems every year, selling huge money, bringing in a gem. Great academy, and they will play football. They will not be afraid at Anfield tomorrow night. They will certainly set out their stall and play their football. So I think it's going to be a tough game for Liverpool tomorrow night. The only thing that'll help us is they won't sit back. They'll actually play, you know. And Anfield, the crowd got to get behind the boys tomorrow night. Lights, under the lights, could be a special night at Anfield because we've no more fucking games in September. So this is it. Let's get a win and get some sort of confidence. So what would you do tomorrow night, Keith? What would you go with? Who's available? I mean, Robertson's out again today. Tsimikas must start.
Tsimikas must start, yeah. So it'll probably then be I'd start Matip, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And we've no choice but to play Trent. So
Van Dijk, Alisson, obviously.
Yeah. And
the midfield
Fabinho,
is interesting.
Thiago. He'll probably go Elliott on the right hand side.
Yeah.
And then I'd throw Nunez in again, and Diaz and Salah.
Leave Jota and Bobby in the bench.
I would.
Yeah. What would you do, Ivan?
I'd leave I'd leave Nunez on the best. I'd bring Jota in. So I think we need to go back to that kind of more fluid front three, and have them just, you know, switch positions when they need to. Maybe Salah move inside and Jota move out. And it's the same, yeah. Like, I don't see him starting Milner. Like, Dave, you're right. They're going to play football against us. So I don't expect them to be playing long balls over the top. They'll stick to their principles of playing football. Now, having said that, they could pass their way through us because we've been that off in midfield. But I'd keep maybe Nunez on the bench, and if we were looking for a goal, bring him on. Keep Carvalho out as well. I don't know if he's possibly even injured, is he?
He trained yesterday.
He
should be on the bench. Should be on the bench.
Yeah. No, I still fancy us to win, and I think it's a good opportunity, not having the game at the weekend and another bit of build-up, more time to get it right. And hopefully we get back to basics. I'd like to see us under pressure, and I'd like to see them cause us problems, but I'd like to see us fucking deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd like to see us start like a house on fire and then get something out of it. You know, and I think if we start and we score, crowd is up, and I think that momentum should carry us through. I think if we start, and I do expect us to start fast. If we do start fast and we've nothing to return from the first 20 minutes, you can see the wheels come off.
Totally, yeah. No, like I want to see Van Dijk fucking hammer somebody. Do you know what I mean? I want to see a bit of fucking bite in there. You know, I don't want him giving my penalties on it, but I actually want.
Been a bit lethargic, Van Dijk. He has in the last few games.
I don't know what
has been lethargic.
If the knee injury is kind of playing in his mind or what. I'm thinking of the Rashford goal that he could have gone across for. I want to see him actually just, you know, bully somebody. But I want to see us under pressure, and I want to see us to come through the game and maybe win like 2 or 3-1, but have been under a lot of pressure and have them look like they've taken a bit of feedback on board from the coach because he must have hammered them. He absolutely must have hammered them. And you know, from what I've been hearing on the interviews today, they've had very long, open conversations about what's gone wrong, and that's all fine. But you need to put it in on the fucking pitch then. So a performance tomorrow, I'd like to see them under a bit of pressure, and I'd like to see them come through a tough game and get a good win and a good performance.
Yeah, I think performance is important tomorrow night as well. You know, we always say the result, we need the win. I think it's important to get some sort of performance.
We need to be seen to be back on track. Yeah. We need to be seen to be back on track.
Performance, you know what I mean? Yeah. And other than the Bournemouth game, which I'm writing off, to be fair, because Bournemouth were so bad and we were 2-0 up after 5 minutes. That game was over after 5 minutes. Whereas, you know, we there was 10-minute spells in certain games, but there was no full control, and we've never controlled the game, I don't think, other than say Bournemouth. None of the other games we've controlled. Did bits against Palace, bits against Newcastle, but could have lost against Palace, to be fair. Could have definitely drawn against Newcastle. It was 98 minutes. You know, we could have even had worse results.
Yeah.
And I think control is missing. And if the midfield, the likes of Thiago there, Fabinho, I think would be the midfield. Elliott's a question mark for me, what he'll do there. I don't know. He might even play Bobby in behind the front three. But I actually think Nunez has to start. He has to play. He has to play. He needs time. He needs fucking minutes. You know, we haven't really seen him. He got bleeding sent off against Palace and missed 3 games. You know what I mean?
But I was just confused by him last week against Napoli because he is a number 9, but he kept drifting out to the left.
Yeah, the wing. He's like a winger.
And then I'm kind of going, look, but your Diaz is out there. You're standing beside the other fucker. He's there beside you. There's nobody in the middle because fucking Salah's stuck over on the other side. So what are you actually trying to do? Do you know what I mean? And it just looked totally lopsided to me. Just totally. That's why I think I'd bring Jota in, and the three of them are used to playing together. They've had whatever 6 months together. They'll score goals. I was confused by Nunez last week. I didn't know what he was actually trying to do.
It's nice having those few options going there with the 5 fit up front. You know what I mean? You can interchange with the 5 sub real in the Champions League as well. Yeah. We will certainly be using them.
Yeah.
I actually would have rested, even though Robert got injured. I was actually thinking yesterday. I did a video. I was saying I would have started Tsimikas anyway. I think Robertson looked tired anyway, didn't he? He must have had that injury. Maybe he was carrying that injury. I don't know.
But that's why I think even whatever about getting players back fit, 3 weeks off now, like get people rested and recovered and back in the fucking zone and just get back to where you were. Like this is a massive opportunity.
It's like a mini It's like a mini break, isn't it? It's like a mini break. Now someone will be on international duty as well. Remember?
Yeah, but
hopefully none of them get fucking injured there.
That's it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think we need to make use of these 2 or 3 weeks.
Cop on for the Cop On podcast. How many of our midfield will play for Arsenal, Spurs, or Chelsea? I think only Fabinho. Well, I think Thiago, to be fair. But he needs a long break. Yeah, no, I think Thiago gets in there. I mean, Elliott is obviously potentially one for the future. So is Carvalho. But I mean, the likes of Jones and all, you'd probably say, yeah, they wouldn't get in. I don't think they would. He's another one we've missed, probably energy-wise, even to come off the bench last 20. You know what I mean? He'll be missing again as well. So maybe you're right, guys. Maybe we do need a break. We need to get a win tomorrow night. We need to get a performance tomorrow night. Just get 3 points on the bag, in the bag. But we'll see what happens. I think we leave it there, guys. That was nice and short and sweet. I'm going to go for Liverpool to win 2-1. I think it'll be a tight game tomorrow night. Once we win, bit of a performance, I'll be happy. We've 3 weeks off. What are we going to do then? What are we going to do?
Pray every night to the God of football.
Actually, another good one, just before we go. Arthur Melo, the new signing. Give him plenty of time to bed in.
Oh, yeah.
Get to know, a bit more training, get him up to speed, get him match fit. That's another thing that will probably...
Yeah, no, did he come on at halftime, just after halftime against?
He came on only about 20 minutes, didn't he?
And he missed a couple of challenges. He was kind of late, so he needs time to get stuck to get in. But he's highly regarded. Like I was reading a couple of things from Messi. Messi said he's a really good footballer.
He could be a shout on the right hand side tomorrow. Could be a shout. Yeah.
I seen him in training today. Actually, they were doing live training on YouTube, and he looked good. He was pinging the balls. You never know.
Yeah. No, we need.
His energy's fresh. You never know.
The team he picked against Everton, I thought, was just a total gamble. You know, Carvalho and Elliott away to Everton. Wrong team, lads. Do you know what I mean? Wrong team.
We still did enough to win that. And we didn't. Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I think pick a strong team tomorrow, defensively and in attack. Take your chances and put in a performance.
Yeah. And hopefully the crowd will be up.
The crowd will be up for you.
The crowd will be up for it. The crowd will get behind us from the start, 100%. But you know, likewise, if we don't kind of take that energy and channel that energy into getting a lead within the first 20 minutes, it'll change quite quickly. You know, that's the thing. Yeah.
So quick start tomorrow night, lads. A few goals in the bag. Take the points. Take your birthday. Take your little 3-week break off. Go on holidays, or actually maybe go on international football. I don't know. Most of them are going away. Just get the rest and we go again. I'm confident it'll win tomorrow night. I'm going to go 2-1. Ivan, Keith, that has been nice. Short and sweet. Reds to beat Ajax tomorrow night. Thanks for the comments, guys. Stay safe. You'll never walk alone. Talk soon.
See you, lads.
Yeah.
Take care.
Cheers.